Hey, it's Chronologically Gaming, the only channel that's perpetually retro because we're playing every video game in order of release. Let's go back to October 1982. We were last playing, or we weren't playing anything, we were reading the latest issue of Video Gaming Illustrated for October. Let's see what our next game is. What's that on the TV?
Since it was the only way to play Pac-Man on my TV, I got a video game system from
Is it
Atari.
really
Am
the
I
only way to
glad?
play Pac-Man?
Because it's also the only way to play Haunted House.
Oh,
it's
it is
almost
the
too
only way
spooky,
on your Atari.
especially in the dark. An Atari system's also the only way to play Defender at home. I can't think of a
is it
faster
really
game. Can
the
you
only
think
way to
fast?
play it?
Then there's Yar's Revenge, an Atari original. Only Atari lets me play all these great home video games. Wonder what they've got waiting in the wings.
Well, we know it's going to be waiting in the wings, but we'll have to wait and see. We actually have another way to play official Pac-Man, and that's on the Atari home computer. And the other way to play official Defender is on the very rare Intex Adventure Vision, so it's not the only way to play. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Cosmic Swarm on the Atari VCS. Let's check it out. There's the box for Cosmic Swarm. It's yet another one of those sci-fi games. We've been seeing those since '71. This is another one by Comavid. This marks our third game we've seen by Comavid, and all of them have been on the Atari VCS. The front of the box is kind of like the other Comavid. It actually is worse, and I believe this one is the one from Europe, at least the front of this box. Let's flip it over in the back. Oh man, it's just bare bones. Nothing really too much to describe about the box. The immense Waypoint Interstellar Trade Depot floats with its tiny crew at a distant crossroads between the stars. It should be a quiet place to command, but beware, the dormant colony of giant alien mineral-eating termites hidden in ore holding a Section 7 have been awakened. Man, the back of the box has some lore for us, but I don't know how much is going to sell the game with the front of the box. Let's see the other artwork we have for Cosmic Swarm. This is by Comavid after we've already seen Video Life and the Mines of Minos. It was released in Germany under the publisher Airlock, and I think Comavid is the one in North America. Oh, there we go. Yeah, Aurora, Illinois. So yeah, this box was the North American box. And we have different flavors of what the box is. Yeah, doesn't it look like a budget front of the box? I'm totally with you, Chiptune. Here's the idea you would have seen in magazines at the time for Comavid. We are going to be seeing Room of Doom later and Omega or Mission Omega at some point. Again, another one is like, are they really going to attribute to good quality games for the Atari? We'll have to wait and see. So far, not so much. There's our Atari VCS still cooking, and there's the cartridge. The Comavid cartridges are usually a little bit longer. They actually remind me of the Epoch Cassette Vision cartridges, even though this has a ROM chip inside. But interesting, they didn't follow the same picture on the front of the box. It actually looks pretty nice, like it's showing the graphics of the game on the cartridge. I like it. There's a manufactured one. Yeah, there you go. A little cleaned up cartridge with an example of the screenshot. And how do you play Cosmic Swarm? Well, they flash us with the same artwork on the front of the box, and it has the same story that was in the back. We're supposed to be taking care of termites before they take out the main power conversion chamber and begin assembling a haphazard nest. So this one is termites, so technically it's insects we're fighting. We've seen that before. I know, right? Doesn't it look like something that a kid would do in art class? Definitely, Brian. So this explains how to play the game. At this point, hopefully you understand how the Atari VCS works. You have to turn off the console first before you play the games. I think we've already seen this 200 times. We get the idea. There's the different difficulties. We got the beginner, novice, and challenger if we use the difficulty switches. And then you have your Atari VCS joystick. And there's the controls. Look at that. It shows you all the different directions you can move. That's pretty standard. But this what's interesting. This game, we have to hold down the red button, move, and twist the ship by holding the red button. When you release the red button, that's when you fire. So this one has that gimmick going for it. Here's the gameplay. Your probe touches down on a termite nest as the blocks start being laid down. Termites are destroyed by hitting them with a bolt from your ship. The blocks stop your ship bolts from being destroyed unless they're energized. We have a reserve force of 3 ships or 3 lives. We occasionally can refuel, and you'll see there, that's the docking station. And yes, our ship looks just like the ship in Asteroids, which we've already seen on the Atari VCS. Maybe for this game we will, Brian. Maybe we will. And then it keeps going to explain how you're supposed to take care of the blocks and the termites, or keep them from making more and more blocks, because you can see here they're going to be in your path, and you have to move around them. So you have to destroy the nest blocks. There's our score value, because everybody's got to know how to get the high score, especially with Cosmic Swarm. That tells us what the difficulty switches do. And then look at this. Comavid is looking for a different kind of company formed by a group of professionals. Well, have at you, Comavid. Let's see what you got. This one has a few other versions available in PAL regions as well, and on a compilation. Let's pop in and play Cosmic Swarm. This is John Bronstein, published by Comavid and Airlock at the beginning of October 1982. This is our 145th game we've played here on the Atari VCS. That's how many games are out there. All right, so we have the difficulty switches. I'm just going to go with the main game because there isn't like multiplayer modes or things like that. Once you see the game, you got it. Let's hit reset. And we're in. I can move freely around the screen, so watch as I move the ship. Notice that it's not controlling the same as the Asteroids variant, but I look the same as an Asteroid game. When I want to hold down the red button, though, it then rotates the ship in the direction I need to go. See how I'm rotating around? Whenever I let go of the button, that's whenever it fires a shot. So it's a very bizarre control scheme, but after playing so many games that are similar to Asteroids or look similar to Asteroids, it's cool to have a different experience. And of course, if you tap the red button, you see I just keep the same position on my ship and just can fire away. So it turns into a quick shooter. And then you can readjust shots here. Is that my docking station? Let me see if I can shoot it. Oh! Maybe it was game over, it reaches the bottom. All right, so I'll hit reset again. Darn, my high score's gone already. It didn't take me long. So you can tap the button to fire in the direction you're facing, but if you hold it down, that's how you can readjust. So fresh idea, considering we've seen quite a bit of games that have the same formula. You know, push the red button down, but there are some games that require you to release the button, but it's very, very few. Notice whenever I try to fire at what the termites drop, nothing happens. And if you touch them, then you die. So they're essentially leaving you traps that clutter the screen. And I'm wondering if the more that's on the screen, it's going to slow the game down, but time will tell. Yeah, it takes a lot to get used to. So here's one of their bombs. Got it. Wait. Did I still die? Oh, maybe I am supposed to let it reach the bottom. Don't let it... Okay, that's what you get for not reading every particular of the manual. All right, we'll reset again. Let it go to the bottom then. So I'm already getting the hang of it, and it's kind of fun. While it does take a little bit of time to get used to, it feels different and fresh. And here when we play every single game you could possibly play, it's kind of cool. Here on Chronologically Gaming, we call these games multi-directional shooters. The very first game we ever played on the show, Galaxy Game in 1971, was a multi-directional shooter. All right, so let's let this go to the bottom and see what happens. Don't let the termites reach the bottom. Or am I supposed to dock with it? That is my docking device. I can't believe it. It looks the same as your ship, so I guess you're supposed to take that one. I'm already looking over the chat, and I see a rating already for the game. Throwing out 2 stars of all the games you can play right now on a home console. Alright, so believe it or not, when I first played Asteroids on the Atari VCS, I wasn't particularly impressed with Asteroids. We'd already played quite a few variants at that point, and this one actually plays very favorable to that. The control scheme's different, but it's essentially building a playfield for you to work with. So the longer you play, you're going to have to, you know, see I'm weaving in and out of what the termites are dropping. So this is growing on me. When at first the control scheme seems a little weird or backwards, I actually enjoyed this. This is a fun game. But there's a lot of games out there. We call these the multi-directional shooters, and at this point, this one marks our 118th multi-directional shooter across all categories. Yeah, they need to do something else more impressive because we have seen games that offer scrolling on, home consoles, and this one's still taking place in one area. But yeah, go for the high score, and you can see there's not a lot of variety with gameplay modes, at least that's how it goes. If you want to play some really good multi-directional shooters right now, the best ones are going to be on the Atari home computer rather than the Atari console. But the best ones right now that you could play on home consoles would be like Asteroids on the Atari VCS. I blew it up again, I forgot. Space Hawk on the Intellivision is also a really good one. Yar's Revenge, of course. Berserk on the Atari VCS. Escape on the Arcadia 2001. Marauder on the Atari VCS. Night Stalker on the Intellivision. Tron Deadly Discs is an awesome multi-directional shooter. Beanie Bopper, which is what we talked about, the scrolling for a video game. And then Space War on the Atari VCS is also a really fun one. And Suicide Mission was a more recent one. So those are some of the best ones you could play. This one really isn't necessarily one of the best ones, but I can't really fault it for that. As far as console games go, right now this one's all right. Yeah, and I like the change up in the controls. It's pretty cool. Yeah, different difficulty mainly as well. So looking over the chat, I see some 2-starred, which means some bad, at least bad for home console games, but then I see a 3, 2.5, and a 3.5. Of all the games you can play right now on a home console, I'm going to say Cosmic Swarm is a 3-star game. It's fairly average for all the games right now on home consoles. And that's across all of them, not just the Atari VCS. All right, with that, let's press forward and see our next game. Coming up next, it's the Commodore 64, brand new still, and this is Radar Rat Race. Let's check it out. Now, Radar Rat Race is one we've already seen on the Commodore VIC-20 in 1981, and on the Commodore Max machine in September 1982. The box has the same artwork we've seen before, too. It's basically a reskinned Rally X. That's all it is. We played the actual Rally X that was on the Japanese version of the Commodore VIC-20, and then they reskinned it, obviously for legal reasons, to Radar Rat Race. And there you are. You're playing as the rat. Instead of you dropping smoke like the Rally X, you just drop sparkles or something. So you flip it over the back, you can see this box is the European version in multiple languages. That's true. You shouldn't judge the game by its cover. I am totally with you there. What other artwork do we have for Radar Rat Race? Different boxes, at least. Now, the VIC-20 version was programmed by Bill Hindorf. At least that's what I have in my notes. But the Commodore 64, I couldn't confirm who the developer is for this one. It might be Bill, but it may not. So I won't credit who it is. I'll just say it's published by Commodore. So Radar Rat Race should look pretty familiar. There's the cartridge we're going to pop into our Commodore 64. Man, I love cartridges on home computers. And there's an example of the screenshot. We also have the manual for Radar Rat Race, but we're pretty familiar with how Rally X works. What do you got to do first? Make sure your Commodore 64 is off. How many people were putting games in after the system was on? I guess we're just so familiar with it now. Plug in joystick to port 1. We're playing as the rats hot on our tail. To confuse them, you press S and it lays a star screen. That's what scares them away. It creates a false sense and confuses the rats. Now I understand it all. We're supposed to find all the cheese in the game rather than flags from Rally X. And you're essentially moving your way around the maze, controlling the rat. There's the keyboard controls, but we got our joystick for our Commodore 64 to play. Here's the score. Make sure you watch out for black cats. Get all the cheeses, and then move on to the next round. And I believe there's bonus rounds, too. Into the manual doesn't really have too much for us there. All right, time to pop in and play Radar Rat Race. This is Commodore Business Machines in the beginning of October 1982. All right, let's see what you got. This one is our 30th game we've played for the Commodore 64. That's how fresh and new it is. But still, already 30 games. That's a lot, considering it was just a month ago. All right, so this one has a few instructions that are essentially like the manual, so I'm going to skip by them. And then we also have a trainer that's involved with this. I'm going to say no, we're not going to do any cheating. We're going to play the game as is. And they even give you the option to turn off the jingle, and you'll probably see why. All right, so this marks the 10th game we played that is Rally X, and that's including the actual Rally X game, because there's not like an official series of Rally X games. All right, so I'm going to hit F1 to go. Here we go. Yeah, we get 3 blind mice to play. We've heard that one before. There it is. making our way around the maze. We have the radar or mini-map in the bottom, the right side of the screen. Get all the cheese. Oh, they're following me pretty tight here. Let's see if I can block them. There we go. And then go around this side. I think I confused them there. Now, does it keep me moving? Okay, it does. So it kind of feels like you're controlling a car, because when you don't move the joystick, the rat continues to go. So it's like we're on wheels. We continue to roll. After playing Rally on the... I know, right? I think we heard this one already on the Commodore VIC-20. But after we played Rally on the TRS-80, when we were playing a Rally X that allowed you to just stand still... This is another one of those games you'd be turning the volume off, but here to play Rally X at home is a real treat. There's another one we played on the home console, the very rare Creative Vision. Alright, I'm going to make my way down this side. And if you're asking yourself, oh, surely they're going to play a different song when you get to the next level, right? We get a ditty when we finish this, but that's about it. No, we're dropping special star screens, not dandruff. Obviously. So lately, a few of the Commodore 64 games we've seen really feel like they're just VIC-20. It's Commodore VIC-20, and they're made to play on the Commodore 64. So it's not really utilizing or pushing what the Commodore 64 can do. Like this right here, the colors are a little bit nicer. The scrolling, though, is pretty much the same as the VIC-20. So it's not doing anything to push or sell the VIC-20, especially if you had this game on the VIC-20. Why? Why would you even want this? I should have gone for that one on that side. Let's go back here. Especially with the sound. It will drive you insane. Oh, we got another one? Oh, he got us. So of all the categories that your video game could be on, Rally X, this is the 10th one. So there's not that many ways to play Rally X. And we're including, you know, the official Rally X on the Japanese, you can't go into the Black Cats, on the Japanese Commodore VIC-20, or the actual version that's on in the arcade. There's only 10 of them out there, so not too many. Now, I really want to go back to the trainer and say to turn off the music. I know, they're really going to be pushing for more sales of the Commodore 64 during Christmas this year, but VIC-20 is still going to keep going. This just feels like I'm playing on the VIC-20. So while this was very impressive, I gave this 4 stars when we originally played it on the VIC-20, because it's kind of rare to play a Rally X game that's like this. But the music, I think you can go insane. Just turn the volume down of your monitor if you can. Alright, that's enough. I think we've had enough there. The flavor is gone for Radar Rat Race. I still need to give it props as being another way to play Rally X. It is a good way to play, but it doesn't really sell the Commodore 64. This really should be around the average range for home computers. Now, when we saw this on the Commodore Max Machine and the Commodore VIC-20, I was saying around 4 stars of all the games you could play. Now, seeing it on the Commodore 64, I just know what the Commodore 64 is capable of. And so I really don't want to rate this 4 stars on the Commodore 64, because you can already play this, and it plays just as well, if not identical to it, with all the insane sounds too. Yeah, so I'm thinking around, yes, 3 stars on mute. I love it, Manly. Yeah, of all the games you can play on a home computer, this is around the average range. This one isn't pushing any new ground or boundaries, but it is a fresh idea to play Rally X at home. You cannot do that in many places. All right, so after Radar Rat Race, yet again, I don't know if we're going to see Radar Rat Race again. We might. Let's press forward and see our next game. Hey, we're back on the Atari VCS, and this is Airlock. Let's check out Airlock. Starting with the box. It's the latest by Data Age. This one is the 4th game they've done, all of them on the Atari VCS, after Journey Escape, Bugs, and Encounter at L5. And that's why we saw the commercial for the Journey game, because I'd say that one's the best one so far by Data Age, but by a little bit. I mean, Encounter at L5 is actually all right. So the box is, honestly, it looks, is this Tron? What are we looking at? We're supposed to be on a nuclear submarine, I believe. And you can see there's the inside of the submarine, but why are we colored? I know why we're colored like Tron, because everybody wants to be like Tron. Yeah, doesn't it look like rip-off artwork? Is that the real box? It can't be. Let's flip it over on the back. You're the captain of a disabled nuclear submarine that's come to rest on a ledge perilously close to a gaping hole in the ocean's floor. Rocked by currents welling up from the deep of the earth, your vessels begin to take on water in its lower levels. Can you escape each level in time? Will you be able to dodge the torpedoes careening across your path? We'll find out. We have to get our joystick for this challenge, and it does say 1 or 2 players, but yet alternate play. It's not going to be at the same time. What other artwork do we have for Airlock? Nice. We got the cleaned up box, even more glowy and Tron-y than the scan. Very nice. All right, so there's the box. There's the ad you would have seen in magazines. They just pretty much tell you the story of what it is. But come on. I mean, it's so much like Tron. And then there's another one showing some more games that Data Age has done. Data Age has Warp Lock. We haven't seen that one yet. And then Snake, which we're going to be seeing that by the end of the year, I believe. And there you go. Another ad for the catalog version of Airlock. Nice. With a screenshot at the top. There you go. You can see what it looks like. And there's the cartridge by Data Age. It's not exactly like the Atari cartridges, but at least it's pretty close. Some of the other third-party cartridges, they try to go out on a limb to make it look different, you know, like a Magic. Not here, not for Data Age. They're pretty close to Atari. Yeah, there you go.
Data Age presents the world's first rock video.
Oh, no way, Charlie. All right, give me some nostalgia then for this one. Here's the manual for Airlock. If you have the operations manual, because most likely you saw this one for 50 cents, 25 cents next year. You're trapped, and yeah, it's up to us to either sink or swim in the game. The object is to retrieve the hatch keys, make your way to the next level before your compartment floods, and at the same time you have to avoid torpedoes that have shaken loose, which cross your path and rob you of precious time. It shows us how to handle the underwater emergencies here. Like, again, you turn the console off, turn it on, and it explains how to play. If you do 2 players, you're going to take turns, kind of like an arcade. But you can see there's the game select switches are just 4. There's just 4 games to this. Single player or 2 player, and then how many levels you're going to do, 5 or 10. So scoring or gameplay, at least game variations, is pretty low level. Scoring's pretty simple, though. You can see over here on the right side, they break down the screenshot of what you're going to see on the screen, which is helpful because this one is a little bit harder to explain. If you didn't have the manual, you wouldn't get it of how it's supposed to work. And then they give you some tips and tricks and escape techniques because you're going to need them. You have a time limit to work in this game. We'll go back to the manual if we need to. Let's pop it and play Airlock. This is by Data Age. It is October 5th, 1982. All right. Oh, nice. We get some sonar sound effects in the background. So there's our sub. This is how the game begins. When you go to different game variations, it doesn't display anything on the screen. So you don't know if you're doing a 1-player or 2-player game. I actually forgot how many times I hit the game select switch. But let's hit reset and go. I'm going to give you the first experience you would have had with this game if you ever played it. Ready? Here we go. Reset. All right, I'm in. When you first move the joystick, nothing is happening. Nothing. It's like we're in the attract mode of the arcade game, but the game is going right now. You have to decide when you want to start by pushing the red button, so you have to wait for see the torpedoes sliding back and forth. And I want to say, let's go now. And the first thing you have to do is you have to jump. And then what you end up doing is getting stuck on the bottom. You can see how tiny my character is on the screen. You get stuck on the bottom. You get stuck on these little rivets in the submarine as you make your way across. And then you sink. That's going to be your first experience with Airlock. And that's it. That's the game over. There's no lives. There's no lives here. It's just how long can you last. That's a great idea, Manly. We should have had Fishing Derby by David Crane here, and you played that and then went inside the submarine. All right, let's hit reset. All right, same thing. You can wait. Take your time. I don't know if the clock's ticking. I don't think it is for the sync, but you saw how fast it was. This sub is going to go down. You have to be quick. All right, let's go ahead and make our move, and you have to jump to kick it off. Oh, and I got stuck on the rivet again. You're supposed to make your way to this side, collect the hatch. Gosh. Get hit by the torpedo, get stunned, and I got stunned again, and I'm stuck at the bottom, and I have sunk. This is real time. This is not a modified version of Airlock. This is the version of Airlock that you would have gotten. All right, so let's get reset again. All right, and let's try it again. Go. Get the hatch. Make our way back. Oh, I hit the rivet. No. Okay, we made it to the other side. Now you got to be really quick. Grab the rivet on the right first, and then come over to the left. Grab the rivet on the left. Make a jump, and I still wasn't fast enough, and I have sunk again. So the experience with Airlock is, obviously, we're taking inspiration from Donkey Kong, you know, the arcade platformer, but man, it's rough. All right, let's hit reset again. Okay, wait. Oh, nice, Charlie. Yeah, give me some tips. So you jump the hatch and the enemy at the same time? Yeah, so the big thing that's against you is time. It takes a lot because you're going to run out and the whole ship's going to flood and you die again. Goes back to the beginning, so lots of deaths, but that's kind of the theme here on Chronologically Gaming. We die a lot. All right, let's go in again, hitting reset. Yeah, what you see on the screen are supposed to be torpedoes. Oh, I don't believe it. How did I not... All right, let's go. We're going to follow him this time. He will not trip us up now. No, he got us, and we sunk again. But you saw what happens. You get both hatches done, and then it opens the door up, and you can go over to the elevator. No, turn it off, and then go play Donkey Kong on the ColecoVision. That's what you should do. All right, let's reset again. And giving it another shot. Yet another death. Oh, that was a good one. Okay, good run. Here we go. We can do it this time. All the way across. Get the rivet. And go. All you got to do is walk all the way to the left. Elevator goes. This time it switches. You take the hatch on the left, then you take the hatch on the right. Notice that there's no animation, even though it's making sound effects like I'm running. And then I go all the way to the right. Quick. Take the elevator. Yes. Get the hatch right here. I've never made it this far so far in Airlock, just so you know. Here live is the farthest I've made it on Airlock. Go! Quickly. Good, I made it. All right, now we just go to the side. I don't believe it. Oh my gosh, and he's speeding up. Is it going to come back as fast? No, it's going to switch up. Okay, I made it. Go, quick. All right, last level. We can do it. Oh, I missed the hatch. Okay, we got the slow torpedo. I don't believe this. This is so tight. The controls, by the way, are very, very stiff. It feels like we're playing one of the first platformers on a home computer. And we did it! Yes! And then we get back to the beginning, and I think that's it, right? Or do I keep going with... No, yeah, so there's no... You're just going through one run. So all you see here is one screen, and that's it. Yes, Powpuck, I love it. Very riveting. All right, we'll go in again. Make it quick. Grab the hatch. Look at this. Oh my gosh. Man, yeah, the controls are so stiff. Here on the show, we call this style of game arcade platformers. In other words, they took the side view, like Panic, Space Panic, and then they added jumping. Donkey Kong did, and that's what we call the arcade platformer. This marks our 45th arcade platformer we've played across all categories here on the show. So there's 45 other games out there. The first one, of course, we ever saw was Donkey Kong in July 1981. And then, as far as the home console, there's a lot of other really good arcade platformers you could be playing right now on the home console. Like Donkey Kong on ColecoVision would be one of the best. Police Jump on the CreativeVision. Monkey Shines on the Odyssey 2 and the Video Pack. Pickaxe Pete on the Odyssey 2 and the Video Pack. Beauty and the Beast on the Intellivision, Fast Eddie on the Atari VCS. Gosh, it's tripped me up again. Donkey Kong on Atari would be better than this and plays better than this. Tax Avoiders on the Atari plays better than this. I would even go far as to say that Donkey Kong on Intellivision is more fun than this, and King Kong is more fun than this one. Yikes. Yeah, so looking over the chat, I see 2 stars of all the games you could play. It's really because of the controls. The concept's pretty cool. That you have a time limit, that you're supposed to, open the hatches and get out of here. But it's because it controls so terribly. It's very stiff. And while Donkey Kong was the first one to do it, and it did it very well, we've seen other arcade platformers that control great. Like Pickaxe Pete, being able to jump and dive and dodge in the air. And this one just feels, it feels like I'm playing the old school, not as bad as Sir Egbert Jumper, but some of the old school computer platformers, arcade platformers. Oh, if you did a party game, you mean you'd take turns after one person dies and tries again? Gosh, it's so rough though. Gosh, see that? Look at this. It's not only do you commit to the jump, you really have to commit. Can we do it? Go, go, go! Based on how fast you can do the time. Yeah, that's the other thing that brings this down is it's only one screen and it ends here, and that's it. That's the game. So I'm gonna hold to my guns. Of all the games you could play right now on a home console, I'm calling this bad. Airlock is a bad title. Now, I explained all the other arcade platformers you could play, but think of all the other games as well that you could play. I would rather play Donkey Kong on the Intellivision and King Kong on the Atari VCS than Airlock because it's just so clunky. It is a frustrating game. So I'm gonna go 1.5 stars of all the games you could play right now. Looking over the chat, I actually see some kinder ratings, mostly 3 or average ratings, and then a couple 2 stars that are out there. But put it in your hands and play some Airlock and then re-rate it because I got to hold to 1.5 stars. It's rough. It's pretty rough. All right, that's all the time we have for this episode of Chronologically Gaming. Thanks so much for joining me on my quest to play everything in order of release, or the best we can in order of release, because some of these release dates are really hard to come by. Do we go by, the actual date that stores said they came out? Do we go by when the developer says they came out? Do we go by whatever the business says in the quarter they were released? Lots of variables that make us determine when we showcase these games. Next time on Chronologically Gaming, we have another contender for one of the best computer golf games you could play across all home computers. That's it for today, and like I always say, your vehicle will respawn if it crashes and explodes. Hey everybody, thanks for checking out the channel and joining me on my quest to play every single video game in order of release. We'll be streaming live every weekday at 9 p.m. Central, so join us and let us know if we missed any games along the way. This video would not be possible without Launchbox, RetroArch, and MAME. Tell all your friends there's some crazy guy named Chronologically Gaming trying to play every single video game. We have links down below that'll send you to places like our Discord and Patreon, and one that says all the video games we've ever played. If you go there, it's a list of everything, and you can click right to the game you want to see. Chronologically Gaming is the name to look for. We are perpetually retro, and we will catch you next time.